Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis, or Alex's Heart. I want to talk about something when it comes to following your heart. I can say that I have a lot of experience following my heart and making sure that I try to develop my intuitive abilities as best as I can. And despite the trouble that it's gotten me into, I know that it's been leading me where I needed to be. I just want to talk about a situation that happened at least 4 months ago, where I really did my best at following my heart. So I'm sure probably a lot of you all out there are probably listening to videos about people either using tarot cards or people that are intuitively speaking, trying to channel the Most High, things of that nature. Hopefully you are. It is something good to try to practice and develop your intuitive abilities if you look at it from the perspective of every interaction with someone. There's God. So if there's two or more, God is there, of course. God is always there, but you should know that despite how different both of these beings may be, the interaction that they have is something of God. So looking at it from that perspective, when you're as alone as I am and you want to at least put yourself in a situation where you can have some kind of interaction with someone, whether it be listening or talking, that interaction is going to have some kind of message. Because if you look at it from the perspective of the same thing that's inside of me is the same thing that's inside of you, then you try to understand, you have your thoughts and I have my thoughts. So when there's an interaction between two beings, and let's say they speak different languages, the interaction, the interaction is going to have some kind of effect on your thoughts. And let's say the person blinks and you notice they're blinking, and then you start thinking of things regarding what might come out of you thinking about someone blinking. That's something that's being guided by angels. So the same would apply when people have, they speak the same language as you, for example, or let's say they have the same sufferings as you, or they go through the same pains as you, or they feel like they've been through a lot just as much as you've been through a lot. So they intuitively talk about how much they've been through and how much they've learned. And through this talking, you can relate to them because you can put yourself into their shoes, and what they've learned from what they went through helps you think about what you're going through or what could come out of what you're going through because of what you see they go through, because of how much intuition they put into understanding why they went through what they went through. So that's why it's important to watch videos like that where you can at least listen to other people who are trying their best to understand themselves, to understand their heart. And it gets to a point where when you really trust that everyone you come in contact with, despite the conversations not feeling like they relate to you, you find a way to make some kind of relation to their conversations as it's regarding to you. If you put it into this perspective, let's say you're trapped in a room And let's say you're in jail, for example, okay? And you don't know anybody, but let's say a random person comes to visit you in jail. So they start talking about their life. The least you would do is be grateful for the fact that you have someone that wants to talk to you, despite whatever they're talking about having nothing to do with a relationship with you. They're at least expressing their experiences and trying to find some kind of commonality between you and them, or you're trying to do that. You're trying to find a reason why this person is here. Why did God bring this person out of all the people on the planet? Why did God bring this person to me? I appreciate this person for being here because I'm in jail. No one else is going to be here. No one else is here to see me. So why did God bring this person? So this is how I look at certain videos on YouTube. Why am I seeing this person out of all of the billions of videos? You know, despite what kind of algorithms there may be, why is this person, for example, having this particular topic, saying something that relates to something that I can feel that I either want to accept or don't want to accept, because I know that it's going to lead me down a certain direction of my intuition, because I'm battling. Either way, it's a message, right? And your reaction to the message is something that's being observed. And, you know, the way you react to that message, whether it just be through the title of the video, or if you actually listen to the video and listen to the person speaking about a situation that you feel like you're in or you can relate to, but the way they perceive the way they perceive that experience is something that you don't want to perceive, isn't in a way that you'd want to perceive it because of how much you've been through, or you might feel like you've been through more, or you've been through worse, or you can't accept the way they've been through it. You might feel like they don't know enough to know why they shouldn't have experienced it, or why what they did in that experience and trying to express the reason for that experience is something that they still have to learn more about, but they don't know enough, and you have enough experience to know why what they've experienced is something that lacks more understanding, more wisdom. Anyways, I did that a lot, okay? And I really put myself into that position where I said, whoever I looked, and this was 4 months ago, okay? This is what led up to me going into jail. So 4 months ago, I did my best to listen to everyone I came across, to listen to their whole, whatever kind of video they put out. I'm like, okay, this person took this much time. They expect to speak to somebody. I feel like I'm in a prison. Maybe this person was sent by God. Maybe this person can be an angel to me and guide me based on their experiences and based on what they've learned from their experiences. And their experiences could be associated with their understanding of tarot or symbols or symbology or iconography or all of this stuff, because we all try to find meaning in everything. So based on someone can read a tarot card. Two people can read a tarot card and they read it in different ways, of course. So it's a blessing at that, because you don't have different viewpoints for the same thing. You have different viewpoints for the same thing, for the same image. But it's good to know that people perceive it differently so that you can perceive it differently from them, knowing that you know people perceive it differently. So you grow in understanding and try to make sense of everything. That's what God is trying to do. So I did my best to, this is why I was sharing a lot of videos on my posts on YouTube, so that I can show people what videos I'm watching, so that you can kind of resonate or pull some kind of frequency from the things that I'm watching, so that you can elevate with me, okay? Because there's only so much I can say until I feel like people are ready to listen. Then I'll be able to say more. But until then, I need everyone that wants to listen to try to intuitively guide themselves the same way I'm being guided by angels. Because when you look at it from this perspective, at least this perspective of, you see me, you see my eyes. Know that the thing that's inside of you is the thing that's also seeing through these eyes. It's just I'm speaking to you from my perspective, from this ego, from who I built myself to become, so that you can listen to it knowing that these eyes are a part of you, okay? You should look at it like everyone, of course, how important it is that we have the blessing of to be able to see, to have eyes, okay? This is why you have these different angels, these seraphim, these, I forgot the one with all the eyes. Anyways, it's very important to understand it like that. But besides that, I look at people like they're angels. If we want to live in heaven, we have to know that heaven is filled with angels, okay? People that have messages about what they've seen, about what they experience, because through their experience, they know that they were guided. So they're trying to speak it in a way to help others be guided because they got through the experience, or they understand a little bit about the experience to help others understand if they have a similar experience. So I tried my best to look at everyone, listen to everyone, despite it might not making complete relation to a logical mind. I intuitively used my heart to make sense of what they were saying, and it was clicking. It kept clicking. It kept making sense because for some reason it was reliable. The outcome of what they were saying was matching my frequency, matching the ability for me to make it make sense. Okay, and we're talking about looking at different people, and of course, you know, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the term the chosen ones. How there's 144,000 people all being guided intuitively to understand more about themselves so that they can help others ascend. So when people have this understanding within themselves, they become a collective. They become a collective of beings who are trying to match each other in frequency so that they can grow, because they know it all leads to ascension. It all leads to Jesus Christ. It all leads to the Most High. So when people have that in their heart, and they know that what they go through is going to be guided by God, by angels, so that they can guide others because they know where they're going, and they want others to go to where they're going because they want to bring others with them, because that's who they are inside. That's what their heart wants to emanate, wants to project. So I can see that, I feel that, I understand that. I can look at everyone. When people make videos, I can gauge how much pain you've been through, how much you cry. I can gauge what you might have to go through, what you might have to learn to get to a level to where what I'm saying can make sense. Which is why I'm in the position where I probably don't make sense to a lot of people, which is fine because it's not time yet. But I just want to point out that everyone makes sense to me, and I understand why they go through what they go through. And I know that when I need to find some kind of guidance, it will be brought to me like an angel, put it right in front of me, like, here, look at this. Even if it's just words. And I'll look at the words and be like, okay, I don't really know too much about if I want to take that route, if I want to look at this video, because these words right here aren't really sitting well with my heart right now, because I don't like the fact that, you know, Either for one, someone might be, there's a lot of things that people are worried about or focusing on, which shouldn't be the focus of the matter. For example, relationships. I've been in jail for 4 months, and I've literally depleted my desire, my passion to want to be in a relationship with anyone anymore. So there's a lot of people out there that I'm assuming, well, this is the thing too, and this is what is going to lead up to. People are feeling what I'm feeling because of what happened in this collective energy, okay? And what happened was, okay, I did my best to follow my heart. And let me just put this out there too. 4 months ago in October, I'm not sure if anyone out there has had some kind of experience in October. Maybe you all have. Anyone maybe that's listening, where you probably professed your love to someone, or you've probably seen someone as someone that can be a good fit for you, someone that can really touch your heart like you feel someone needs to. You probably felt like you found someone that could be a soulmate or someone that you can ride or die for, you know, in October. Maybe this was the case for some of you. And so I felt that same way too. And I intuitively took this to the extreme, because that's the only way I can find out if it's true or not, is taking it to the extreme. And I know that because of how alone I am, I know that, you know, me watching videos about me, about people, let's say someone on video like an angel is saying, hey, you're gonna find this love that's gonna come out of nowhere, and you know, you're gonna be so happy, or you know, and then another person says it, right? And then another person says something similar, something leading about this love thing, and you know, it's this collective thing where the algorithm is working like this, right? But for whatever reason, let's say for example, people are pulling tarot cards, right? How are people pulling tarot cards and people are all having the same thing to say through the tarot cards? Because it's God driven, okay? Because it's something that the Most High is allowing the angels to cause, so that people can read it in the ways they need to read it, so that people can understand that there's this collective thing going on. There's this collective mind, collective hive mind, okay? And I'm sure that a lot of these big companies like YouTube, I'm sure that they understand this side. If not, probably the back doors of YouTube, they understand that, like, there's probably some kind of, you know, Google Analytic about how certain people are talking about this around this month, and a lot of people are talking about this in this month. And I'm sure that they're seeing some kind of God-driven collective mind occurring, because when you look at it, especially with the manner of cards, because you can't just say that it's an algorithm that's doing it. People are randomly pulling cards, and it's saying the same thing as far as like what the title would be. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh, you're going to meet this person. And someone else just said the same thing, but they only said it because they pulled it through tarot cards, right? So I'm sure that there's some back doors or back offices, for example, that they're studying this type of stuff, because they're trying to figure out, not even figuring out, but they just see it. They just see that there's this collective mindset that people are doing, experiencing this intuitive thing that's going on, that's connecting people, okay? So I was in this thing, okay? And I wasn't in this thing speaking, I was in this thing listening, in this thing being guided, as if I was looking at all these people that were speaking this manner like angels. I'm telling you, I was looking at them all like angels, okay? So, me being the one looking at these people like angels, they were guiding me, okay? And they guided me to this specific person, this specific female, okay? And I listened to this female, And after listening to this female, I realized, dang, she's speaking a little bit different. She's speaking in terms like she's trying to manifest something. She's trying to bring a relationship into existence. Okay, and I started watching a lot of her videos, and I started realizing she's trying to use some form of magic, whatever we want to call it, some form of manifestation, some form of prayer, whatever you want to call it. She's trying to create something, okay? Create a relationship or create something to come into being, okay? And I'm noticing this through her videos. So it's almost like everyone excluding her was guiding me to her. And when I started watching her intuitively, I realized this is the person that I'm supposed to make myself make them aware of me. So I started commenting on her videos, okay? Expressing my heart, expressing my love for her, okay? Keep in mind, I've been guided by all these other angels, these other people, of course, being guided by angels. I've been guided by all these other people telling me that this love is coming, this person that you're going to have strong feelings for, yada, yada, okay? So as I'm expressing my love to this particular person, because she's not talking like this, okay? But I do feel like she's, I can say she was talking like that, but she wasn't talking in terms of, it's almost like she was speaking like she was trying to bring this thing in, as opposed to everyone telling me that it's coming to you. It's almost like, I guess you can say that she was speaking in the same terms as well, but there was something different about how she was speaking, about how I was being led to see or hear or trust in my heart in what she was saying. She was saying everything that I needed to hear to feel confident enough to comment on her videos, okay? And me commenting on her videos, I expressed myself. I expressed the love that I have for her, because for one, she would say that she loves me, okay? And I took that as she was talking to me, okay? When at the end of the video, when someone says that they love you, and I haven't heard that in a long time from someone else, and the way, the frequency that she said it in, and how she said it made me feel like she's closer to me than I think, and all of this I'm being guided to feel, okay? So because of that, I felt enough to express myself to her. So I started watching as much videos as I can of her nonstop. No sleeping. Well, I tried not to sleep because I felt so connected to her. After this video, she would say all of this stuff and I would feel like, damn, I'm right next to her. Is she really talking to me? And then I would comment, oh my goodness. I wouldn't say no, oh my goodness, but comment, my love for her, and oh my goodness, I'm grateful that you're doing this, trying to, pull in this energy. I think the first comment I said on one of her videos was like, this is the video that did it, because for some reason I'm focusing, and this is a mystical experience. I can't even express to you or use the right words to express to you what happened, because it was all mystical, okay? It's not even something that I can just be like, here's a ball of fire inside of my hand. I can't show you it. I can only express it to you in words, okay? What I was seeing and feeling through this experience was mystical, okay? So I was having this mystical experience, and then something snapped where I watched a video where she said exactly what I needed to hear, okay? And I said in that video, this is the video that did it, something like that, okay? And then after that, I realized, okay, let me check this video comes up with this title. So I'm like looking at all these videos, okay? Just complete attention on this particular female, okay? Complete attention on her. So then I show her my love on all of the videos that I watched to show her. So she probably consistently seen a comment from me every hour or so. Okay, I doubt she even thought that I slept because of how much she would just get a message after, get a comment after 30 minutes or so. Boom, a comment. Boom, a comment, you know, and she would get that. So I know that she's seen it, because nobody was going to be guided to do something like that, because I express my love to the fullest and to the most extreme, because I don't have time to waste. And if people don't like what this is, what this love is, then hurry up and get over it. Hurry up and push me away so that I can keep moving forward. This is who I am. So I did that consistently, okay? And it was days, probably weeks, I don't even remember. And then I started realizing, because at the same time I'm watching her videos, commenting, I'm also still listening to my other angels, okay? Listening to their messages that they put in their videos on the titles, and then listening to their videos. And then I started listening to them, and they were saying things that were making me think like, what I'm doing is it's almost like it's not being appreciated. And it was like they were saying that, oh, this person has other things going on, or they're putting you down, or you know, they're talking about you in a group because they think that they put a spell on you, and all of this crazy stuff, okay? And then I started like thinking like, what? And then she started putting out videos that were making me see that, for one, I can tell, like when I've messaged someone, damn near 30 messages at least, if not 60, who knows, damn near 30 messages, comments on her videos, and then she puts out a video, I'm looking at her eyes, I'm listening to her heart, her voice, to hear if she knows or if she feels anything from what I've been commenting, right? Trying to use my intuition, my heart, to see if she has any connection to me. Is she trying to talk to me through this video now? You know, has what I said reached her to a point where she knows that there's some kind of connection, that I at least feel some kind of connection? And then next thing you know, after some days, I just stopped. I stopped commenting because my other angels were telling me all these other things. They were saying, oh, this person isn't who you thought she was. She's doing things behind your back. Things like that, okay? Not necessarily those particular words, but things like that. So then it got to a point where she put out a video and she said, oh, you know, she just brought it up because, of course, she's controlled by God too. So there's no escaping what I need to hear. So she said something like, oh, you know, and I just want to say that this person, somebody had made a video who, this person was wearing, some guy was wearing like a superhero costume, right? And this was before Halloween. Somebody was wearing a superhero costume and was trying to like profess his love to her through a video. And then you know, he made like this funny video or whatever. She said, oh, it was funny, and she messaged him on Instagram. And then as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh my goodness, my heart can't be any more broken than it's been, okay? Which is why it's funny that it happened the way it happened, and that's what triggered me to like realize what all of this was, because I've already had my heart broken plenty of times, okay? And there was times where, I mean, it would just, it broke, and I'm like, that's not even a heart anymore. I don't even know what that is, and now I'm a completely different person. So for me to be led by my angels to communicate with this individual because there was a bigger plot at play, was all a part of this plan. So come to find out, she put out that video where she said, oh, she thought that was really nice of him to have made this video trying to like profess his love for her, and somebody on YouTube, bunch of followers, and everyone's like, oh yeah, and then I thought to myself, I sat there and watched all of your videos, damn near lost sleep, just trying to make sure that I can express all of my love to you in as many comments as I could. And you thought that someone making one video saying, in a funny way, oh, he wants to be with you or whatever, you thought that was more impressive than my form of expression of love. And as soon as she did that, my perspective of her changed. And then all of the angels, all of the people that are intuitive, that use their heart to try to express themselves, like I've said in the beginning, about what they've experienced, about what the cards are telling them, everyone changed their perspective. Everyone was like, oh, somebody's, let's just say somebody is pretending to be in this collective, but they're really not. It was almost like, again, another psyop, okay? It was almost like I had to infiltrate this thing, this collective thing, but in this manner, so that I can point out this particular individual is not a part of this collective thing, okay? Because this collective thing, we're talking about people who have very strong hearts, very, very helpful, very considerate people, very loving people. Okay, and these are the people, very soft people, very strong people. These are the people that are really a part of this collective, right? But they guided me to this particular woman who, claims to be a leader of this collective, right? So I realized that as soon as she did that, then all of the angels started saying, for example, oh, somebody isn't who they say they are. Someone just messed with an earth angel, all of this stuff. And I realized that I can't express or explain through words as best as I could, but I'm gonna try. Because this person rejected my feelings, the collective mindset changed. Which is why I asked, did anyone out there during October have this same kind of energy pass through them where they tried to express their love for something or someone and feel like they got rejected or got ghosted or something like that? Because I feel like, I know, but I'm going to say I feel like a lot of people, essentially, and also when you look at the comments of people, you're also looking at comments of angels, okay? We're talking about words. People are putting out words in comments. God, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Let's just put it like this. People don't exist until you see them, until you see some kind of aspect of them. And especially if they exist as words, you have to find out why. Why did God want to project itself as a comment and as words on this particular video, say these particular things? And like, for example, when all of this was happening, people were having these same experiences where it's almost like I got closer to the collective, or the collective got closer to me. They started to feel more of what I felt. And it's almost like I was the catalyst to, as far as my perspective is concerned, I seen that everyone was connected to me. I can't even explain it to you as best as I can. I realized that everyone is connected to me, okay? And if I have to feel some kind of pain when it comes to heartbreak or when it comes to a love relationship, people out there right now probably don't have any desire to be in a relationship with someone. That's because of me, okay? It's because this is the best way we can survive at this moment. In this moment in time, that's the best way we can survive through this chaotic experience of trying to understand more about ourselves and trying to understand who really loves us for us and not because they have some kind of other things going on. Because there's a dilemma with, people wanting to be spiritual, but then they also want abundance and prosperity and they want all of this. They want all of this bullshit. Okay? They want all of this riches and they want to live a lavish lifestyle. You can't have both, okay? You either are spiritual and you take the spiritual route and you get what you get because God knows what you deserve and God knows what you need. And when that time comes, if the time comes to where you're so spiritual that you can handle being rich and spiritual, then that's when you'll get to that point. That's the real part of this collective. But people want both. People want both at the same time. And then they want to manifest things as they're trying to be spiritual, as they're trying to progress, hopefully in this relationship with God, knowing that God is going to let things happen as they come. And this is something that I know that this female needed to learn, because I'm sure that this experience has taught her a lot. You can't just ask for anything and expect it to come. This world isn't about manifestation. It's about having patience and trusting in God and knowing that where you are is where God needs you to be and where you're going is where God needs you to go. You put your perspective in that focus, then you're going to see all the things that God knows you deserve come to you because it's what you deserve and it's because of how much faith you have in God. When you have that kind of faith in God, you know that people out here talking about, oh, you can manifest this in your life and you can manifest that in your life. There's no benefit for God. Where is God's glorification? God is inside of you. How can you glorify God? For one, you have to understand the kind of being God is, the kind of love God has. God loves you so much that he doesn't need to give you this right now, because he needs to build this love for you so that you understand the kind of love God has for you. That even if you have the littlest of things, even if you barely have anything, you still have God. You still have a relationship with God. And you still have the bare minimum, which is all you need to continue to hold on to this relationship so that you can build it to make it stronger, so that you know who's guiding you, so that you know angels are around you, so that you know that you're always being guided. Okay? And so that you know you don't have to think that you're doing all of this by yourself. Okay? I don't try to manifest money. Okay? I know if I'm supposed to have money, God's going to bring it to me. Okay? But there's people out here, especially in this collective, who probably think that being a part of this thing, this 144,000 chosen ones, they might think that, oh, they need to manifest this thing. They need to cut the line that God has put them in to receive the thing that they know they feel or they may deserve. They feel like they need to cut the line and do something that essentially says, God, I don't know what time you plan on bringing this thing to me, but I'm going to cut the line because I feel like I know when I should get it, and I feel like it should come sooner than later. And that's almost going against patience, which is going against God. You go against patience, you go against God's plan. Okay? If you have no patience, you don't know what God is. Because at the end of the day, when you know God is immortal, God is never going to die. God is forever. When you know that this thing is inside of you, what are you rushing for? Right? What are you rushing for? What are you trying to get that you know God can give you, but you think that you can get it sooner, or that you think that you deserve it now as opposed to when God is trying to bring it to you? So that's just something tangent about certain type of people in this collective mindset. Wait until God brings it to you. Trust in God. Pray. Continue to pray. Continue to build that relationship with God so that you know it's coming. So that you know God isn't going to make you think of something consistently while you pray for it. If he knows he wasn't going to give it to you, that's not building a relationship. Okay, that's trying to separate you from being in a relationship. God will bring you what you need. Just know that you have to pray for it so that you know what your prayers are doing. So, back to that. As soon as this thing happened with this female, these videos started changing their titles. It was no longer about, oh, this person is, obsessed with you. This person is going to, this love's going to last forever. The videos weren't about that anymore. Now it was about, oh, there's someone that was, that's been infiltrated, or someone that you can't trust, or, this person that you thought you loved isn't the one that was who you thought they were, or things like that, okay? And then I realized, damn, all of these titles make all the sense in the world. On top of that, something mystical happened in my mind, in my heart. I realized, damn, I'm connected to everyone. And I realized, damn, if this person, this particular female, okay, if she showed some kind of, I don't want to say, if she showed some kind of love to me, I realized that a lot of people in this collective would have had a different experience in life. In October, there would have been a different thing that occurred where people would be more loving, more in a state of wanting to experience this thing that they felt that they were depleted of all this time. But, for example, because of, again, this person claimed to be in this collective, and I know that I'm this thing that's causing this collective to be what it is. I go to this person inside this collective and they say, oh, you're not what I thought you were. You're not this thing that I'm looking for. I know that I was manifesting you. I know that I was trying to get you to be in my awareness, but I didn't know it was going to be you. I thought it was going to be something else. Okay? And then that thing, essentially, I didn't have to speak. Everyone just seen it because they're seeing it through my eyes. The feeling that they're having is causing everyone to go through an experience so that I can relate to the feeling, so that they can relate to the feeling, so that what they say ends up being something that we all can relate to. But it's unfortunate because what we're relating to is another pain, another form of suffering or abuse, because someone else didn't take the right route because they were looking for something else, even though the thing that they really needed was in front of them, which is why it's so important to know that whatever you get is what God gave you and trust it. So, when I realized that I was connected to this hive mind and that my experience, because I was the one that stepped out in front and was like, hey, I really love you. I will do anything for you. This is who I am. When I did that and the person rejected me, I know that no one out there would have professed their love as deeply as I did, especially as extremely as I did. Hopefully they didn't, or hopefully they didn't have to. Hopefully it was gauged to a certain extent, because if people are breaking hearts like that out here, it's wild. But anyways, so when I realized this, I realized, damn, I'm so tapped in. I'm so tapped into what's happening, and that led to me getting put into a situation where I essentially was trying to fight for the rights of my dog, for example. And I got into an argument with someone because I wanted my dogs to be fed more food. I can't even explain all of it here. But essentially, I went to jail for threatening someone essentially saying God is going to take you out, or God is going to take you out of body. I don't know how else to say it. I just didn't say that I was going to do something, okay? I said that God was going to do it, okay? And this thing got turned into a whole thing because I was trying to get my dogs to get more food, because I know that they needed more food. When my dog comes up to me and puts their hand on my leg or something, like, yo, I'm hungry, and this consistently happens, and I'm like, yo, I'm tired of not being able to afford to buy my dog food. It's not really my dog, but I damn near live with the dog, so they're mine too. So I want deeply to feed these dogs, so that my intuition was like, yo, I've had enough of this. I had to call on angels to cause something to occur, and all of these different things. And then it led me into jail, okay? So I was in jail for 4 months doing, essentially doing my best to do tarot, doing my best to stay connected to this intuition that I gravitated to, that I tapped myself into. But then after some months, it started depleting. So I had to make the tarot card. Luckily, I was able to create tarot cards in there. But so then it got to a point where, I didn't know what was going on out in the real world, and I didn't know when the things that I was being guided to see and understand were to come. I didn't know when they were going to happen, so it put me in a situation where I had to essentially, what is the word? I had to essentially, give up, okay? I had to essentially let the system consider me guilty, okay? Even though I could have fought it, okay? But it would have been the situation I was in. They did not want me out. There's spiritual forces out here that are trying to stop me because they know what I am, and they know what's gonna come, and they know what the benefit you all get for me understanding who I am, because I get to understand who you are, and I'll be able to explain who you are just by experience. By me experiencing who I am, you all get to go through experiences to understand who you are. That way, when I start speaking, you all can relate. It's never going to get to a point where I'll have experiences that you can't relate to. It'll be things that you'll either end up relating to, or you won't need to relate to it. You might just have, well, I won't say you won't need to relate to it. It's just, there might be time in which you need to take, there's a process to get to the point where you can relate to it, because I know the things that I'm experiencing, especially the things that I was doing to get myself into this tapped in state, was very spiritual. It's a very spiritual ritual, let's say, that I use with this cube, okay? This cube is very important. People already know this cube is very important, okay? The importance of this cube, let's say one example, okay? When it comes to eating food, if you really want to be thankful for the food, you're going to have to pray a good amount of time, okay? And in this world, I'll do it right now. In this world where there is so much you feel like you got to do, you might feel like there's not enough time to do it. There's so much things, and all you want to do is just eat. You just want to quickly eat your food so that you can get on with your day and do whatever the rest you got to do within that day, right? So with that in mind, I was guided to understand that this is what's going to help us. Here we go. Nice and easy. This right here, okay? I don't know if this is appearing right to left, but this is my right hand, okay? So looking at it from my perspective, this is the left hand right here. This is how the Rubik's Cube would go, okay? This right here is a prayer to eat your food, okay? This is Jesus in the middle, okay? And this is you right here. This is the food you're about to eat, okay? This is I can't even explain to you. Just take a note of this, okay? If you all have your Rubik's Cubes, hopefully you do. Take a note of that. This is a prayer to eat your food. I realized before I even got to this point how important it was to pray over my food. But it would take 10 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I don't even know, but I'm just sitting there praying over my food like, God, Heavenly Father, please, thank you for allowing me to eat this food. Thank you for the sacrifices that were made for this food to be here, for the light, the love, the patience, the time, the energy it took for this food to grow and be brought to my attention, to my purpose, to my ascension. All of this stuff. You know how much time it takes? And then on top of that, I was praying over everything I eat, everything I drink. But I realized there's not enough time in the day to do that. You know, monks and saints do that. But the way that this modernization of time is going, it needs to be more convenient. But it still, of course, needs to be reassuring. It needs to be purposeful. And when I tell you, for me to have come to this conclusion of understanding that this is a prayer, I can't even explain to you all in this video how this is a prayer. It's too much to explain. This is a prayer to eat your food. So all you have to do, especially knowing that it's coming from me and I'm the one that's telling you that this is a prayer, trust that this is a prayer right here so that you can eat your food, so that your food can be blessed. This is a prayer, okay? When you know that, you can eat your food in satisfaction, knowing that even though you didn't spend 10 minutes thanking God for breakfast, not to mention lunch and dinner, okay, that's at least 3 times a day you should have been praying. You pulled this out and you brought this to your attention as you're coming to the codes. You're thanking God in your mind, in your head. The faster you get it, the faster, it doesn't matter. It's still the prayer. The prayer has already been done. Once you get the Rubik's Cube to this color, to these color patterns, you just pray to God over your food, okay? Because I found that out, okay? After doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of understanding about myself, trying to figure out how can I do this in this world if I have to pray over everything I put in my body, and I do this one, okay? There's one that I do for water, okay? It's deep, it's spiritual. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out to you all so that you all can be more inclined. Hopefully, if you're not praying over your food, maybe you don't have the time to pray over your food. Use the Rubik's Cube. Use that color pattern to help you. Now, I said that all. Now let me get back to the point I was saying about this collective understanding, okay? So getting out of jail after 4 months, I realized I'm still connected to this collective thing, okay? It's not going anywhere, okay? And there's this thing going around where, again, this particular female is feeling like it's becoming more and more obvious that the way she feels is not how the real collective feels, okay? And anyone that's relating to her is essentially pointing themselves out like, hey, I don't really have that much faith in God. I don't really want to, how can I put this? Essentially, they're saying like what they think God has in store for them isn't what they want, and they have to do it. They have to get it for themselves. And it's almost like, we're all connected to this thing, guiding each other to this heaven, this form of heaven. Just based on how I experience it, how I perceive it, I'm sure not a lot of you will even be able to get to the point to perceive it in that manner if you don't look for it the way I'm looking for it. But essentially, why did I bring this up? Because I'm tired of people talking about how, oh, there's a particular love coming in. I've been in jail for 4 months, okay? It's like, nobody should be, I'm sure nobody's worried about relationships at this point. All we're trying to do is get as close to God as possible, to be as intuitive as we possibly can, to try to navigate the situation. I'm sure maybe people do want to find relationships and things to that matter. I'm trying to be a saint, Okay? I don't have time to. I don't know what people assume relationships are, or what people do in relationships anymore, or how relationships work. I'm trying to be as holy as possible. Okay? And I know that being holy is pushing myself away from these physical interactions with people. Okay, if you understand what I mean. So when that is out of the mind frame, I know that there's not a lot of people that think like that. So why am I going to put myself in a position to bring someone into my life so that this physical interaction thing can be thought of? I don't even want to think about physical interaction things. I'm so busy trying to get spiritual, trying to become holy, trying to communicate with God, trying to understand how spirit works, how spiritual things occur. And there's just a lot of people in this collective right now that are essentially saying, oh, there's a love coming in. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter to me. Okay? And I'm sure that if it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter to a lot of people out there. And I just want to say to a lot of people out there, trust that. Okay? And maybe I'm going against the grain right now, because the angels said that this person is going to be, a good counterpart, but I've already dealt with, and if I've dealt with a particular person who I thought was going to be the counterpart and realized, damn, this isn't the counterpart, I'm sure a lot of people have thought the same thing in October around that same time. And I'm sure we all have this same feeling inside of ourselves. But then again, not all of you went to jail for 4 months after that. So maybe you all are still having hope in this thing, this form of relationship. I want the best for you all. I want you all to find this good counterpart that you can live with and grow in your life, and just become a better version of yourself, become more intuitive, become more spiritual. Hopefully it doesn't bring you down to, wanting to be an attachment to someone, but instead wants to make you become a higher being, knowing that there's a higher force out there that's guiding all of this. Because once we get into this form of relationships and start attaching ourselves to people, then we start detaching ourselves from God, and then it just separates us from understanding all of these different messages that we get. That's why it's so important for me to be this thing, to be a lone wolf, if I can even put it like that, because I need to make sure that I'm always in tune with God, that there isn't any distractions that I'm getting from receiving messages from God, from my angels. I'm always in a relationship with someone when I watch a video. I'm in a relationship with you right now. If you took the time to watch this, you're in a relationship with me. But you have to understand, what was the purpose of this whole video? What did you learn from it? If you didn't learn anything at all, as soon as the video is over, maybe something can come in. Maybe an angel can touch you and bring you something to think about as I'm speaking about this, right? So that's essentially all I want to talk about. I just want to say that there are people that can deceive you out here, and not everybody is communicating with the angels you want to communicate with, or you want to be associated with. Because essentially, even though everyone is a part of God, not everyone has God's intentions in mind. Okay, especially when you think about how much work you have to put in to get that relationship with God, how much you have to sacrifice, how much you have to be compassionate and forgiving and loving. People, not everyone wants that. That's difficult stuff, especially when people hurt you. Not everyone wants to do that. Not everyone wants to forgive someone 7 times, 70 times. Okay? Because that's the high road, okay? And when you get to that point, then it's like, damn, now I have to just maintain this, because if I lose this, then I lose my connection, and I'm not trying to lose my connection with God. What is that? What is that light thing right there? Oh, that's my phone, right? I don't know. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so yeah. So I love you all, okay? I really do. I really, really love you all. Okay, I'm inside of you all. Forget about this body, okay? Imagine, you don't even see me right now, but think think that I'm right there, right? And you just know this voice, this thing, this spirit inside of me. This thing is inside of you too. Okay? It just sounds different. It just thinks differently. It feels differently, but it all comes back to me. Okay? And this thing that I'm trying to tell you that I am inside is the thing that's projecting all of this. Okay? Trying to make sure that everyone lives a life that they need to live so that they can be who they need to be, who they knew they wanted to be before they got into the body. But it's a process. It's a journey. It might take struggling. It might take sacrifice. It might take suffering. You might have to go through something because this world isn't built for us. But if we can get through it, if we know that God is with us, we can get through it knowing that the benefits outweigh the disasters, okay? And what we get in return is an opportunity to glorify God forever. And the way we glorify God is showing people what God does through us. And when we show when we show people what God does through us, then everything comes to us because people are of God and people have angels, people are angels, and people are attracted to God. So I love you all, okay? I truly love you all. Deep, genuine love, okay? If I don't talk to you all, just know I still love you all. It is very dangerous for me to even interact with people because of how much I think about people, okay? One interaction with someone, I'm damn near gonna think about you the whole day. Doesn't matter who you are, right? So I try to limit myself to the amount of interactions I have with people. I stay in my room as much as I can. There's a lot of things going on that are trying to stop you from building a connection with God. There's a lot of people out here that will say things that have nothing to do with God. And when you entertain these things, you're pushing yourself away from God. Okay? And I'm doing my best to try to communicate this all to you so that you all understand this relationship that I have with you, even though it's not tangible, even though I can't communicate with you all physically right now and tell you all how much I love you individually, how much I care about you because you exist with me. You exist. I understand why I'm here. I know why I have to be here. And I appreciate you all for being here. I can't wait to see what you all become because you're here. How much you've done because you're here, how much you've went through because you're here. I can't wait to understand all of that so that I can understand myself from your perspective. I truly, truly, truly love you all. I am filled with forgiveness. It only gets to a point where when all the angels try to tell me, you can't trust this person, you can't trust this person, then I have to break down that forgiveness and be like, okay, if I can't trust this person, then I have to guide myself to go a different direction. And this is essentially what my heart is doing, okay? I don't want to be associated with people that don't want to love me because it's not going to help me at all. It's only going to make me feel like maybe I can forgive them enough and they'll want to be with me. They'll want to love me, but I don't want to put myself in that position anymore. I've done it enough. So again, I love you. It doesn't matter who you are. I forgive you all. If only you can imagine the kind of people I had to be around inside jail, and I had to forgive them despite knowing what they did to get in jail. I have to forgive them because I understand what all of this is, okay? I understand the purpose of existence, of how everything is damn near scrambled and we all got to put the pieces together. I understand all of this, and that's why it's so important to forgive each other, and that's why it's so important also to trust your heart and follow your intuition and know that there is an angel inside of everyone, okay? They may be good angels, they may be bad angels, but no, it's an angel, and you have to develop yourself, your intuition enough to understand how to discern yourself and discern the message that this kind of angel is bringing to you so that you know what's best for you and the betterment for you to glorify God. I love you all with all of my heart, with all of my being, with every fiber in my bone, my entire soul, and my purpose of existence. I love you. Thank you all for watching this. Thank you for existing. Thank you for being here with me as we progress and ascend together. In the Most High name, Jesus Christ, I thank you forever. Amen.